Hello and welcome to the SIHL expansion tournament. Today we got power rankings. Got the Red Wings hat on. I did also have for the daily review, which sort of is daily. Although there's times where I go 3 days without doing one, but enough of that. Got the Red Wings hat on because had a big win over the Golden Knights today, so that was some interesting news. But thought I have a Red Wings hat. Why not wear it? Because I don't really wear it. Because this hat's a bit tighter than all of my other hats, but it's like a comfy tight, like snug almost. You know what I'm talking about? Like it's not exactly to like painful tight, but is it snug? Yes. But enough of rambling. Let's get to the power rankings. We'll go 12 to 1 like usual. I got them all set. I like this method actually a lot better than what I had before. So starting off number 12. Number 12, the LA Monsters. So for Los Angeles, they lost to San Diego. They got like one win. They got one win over, I believe, the Miami Vipers. Which that's more a reflection on Miami. But they lose against the next best competitor, the San Diego Sharpshooters, who you'll see exactly where they're ranked in just a moment. Probably tells where they are, but LA Monsters they're the worst. Because there's a game between these two teams. San Diego now. Yesterday in number 11, right along with San Diego. For the Sharpshooters, it's like they're better than LA, but they're still they're not going anywhere. For this tournament, yeah, they're just when is this over? When does the season start? It'll be a while, but it's been a long break since this year I get to do baseball. San Diego, gonna put them. They're just bad. They're just really bad. They can beat LA, but winning is few and far between for these two teams. San Diego beating LA, that's the only justification for moving them to 11th. And then we move to number 10. This one, third straight week, same spot. Third straight power rankings in a row. Denver. Looking right in. That's a terrible line. But for the Denver Dragons, they're getting wins here and there. They're up to 6 wins now. Which these teams have 4 and 5. They have 6. Their problem is they don't score. That's why they're not higher. But at points, they look good. They every so often they're able to shut down a team pretty well, but it's like a 2-3-1 game, or maybe a 1-0 win. It's stuff like that. Maybe they get like a 4-3 overtime win. Just a lucky spur of offense, which they rarely ever get. They get an overtime loss against the Philadelphia Falcons, so they were able to hold them till overtime. And they got a point out of it. Something's going on with my TV, but I'm going to keep going. So we move to the second row. And so, actually, hold on, I'm going to do something real quick here. Usually I do this before the video, but usually what I do is I take a screenshot of what I did the last time I did a power rankings. So, before I move into the second row, the third row, gotta take a picture of this as for reference. Got it. Bam. All right. So. For this move, so San Diego and LA, they just flipped. Denver in the same spot. And then sheets, I think I'll go by row since I don't have them memorized. So, Alright, so we moved into the third row. In the third row, starting off, we have... They continue to fall. The Minnesota North Stars, we'll put them at number 9, which from last week. The North Stars, this is a one-spot drop. You'll see who they do switch places with another team. They were in 8th last week. They moved down to 9th. I believe so. Yeah. It's cause, yeah, they found a way to really embarrass themselves against the New York Eagles. They led 4-0 after 1. They lose the game 6-4. And the New York Eagles, they were able to come back and take the lead 5-4 within the second period. Really embarrassing for the North Stars. Their points is what's keeping them out of the bottom row. The next team is who they flip spots with. The Austin Bandits for Austin. Again, they have sparks where they look really good, and then they go dry for 3 games. They're kind of like the Montreal Canadiens in that way, because they do the same thing where they'll go on a big win streak, big lose streak, big win streak. So this Austin team, there's less games, so it's like they'll go on like 3 games where they don't get a single point. They don't have a really good showing against a really good team. Even if they don't win the game, they look really good, at least at points. But maybe they get the win, or at least a point. They look good enough to not... They look better than all the teams below them. That's what I'm saying, but they're not good enough to move out of this third into the top half of the board. So yeah, they do move up as they flip spots with the North Stars. And for number 7, this team moved down a bunch of spots. They were I think they were actually lower than this. They moved all the way up to 3, and now they've moved back down 1, 2, 3, 4 spots. So half the reason I put the Miami Vipers here is because they lost to the LA Monsters 6-5 in regulation. If you lose to the worst team and you're not in the bottom row, yeah, you're gonna move down. You're gonna move down. That's just how this works in this tournament. You will move down. For baseball league, and eventually when I have the SIHL again, it's gonna be a similar principle where if you're already in the bottom, you probably won't move down much. But if you're above them and you lose to a really bad team, that'll move you down automatically. It'll move you down, and if like the teams below you also lose that same team, that might get complicated if that happens. But it shouldn't be that every team loses to this. You get what I mean. All right, then we went to number 6. Number 6, they move up 1 spot from last week, as the Vipers fell down. That's the reason that they move up. For the New York Eagles, it's like they had a really strong... They started off terrible. They had a really strong, blow-up where they went on a 5-game winning streak. And then it kind of fell off, but they fell off, but they've fallen all the way back down. They're just mediocre at this point. They're definitely better than... They haven't had a major fall like Miami, where they haven't lost to a really bad team, but have they beat anybody significantly? No. So that's why I have number 6. It's to move up 1 spot from last week. Into our next team, we have the Philadelphia Falcons. All right, yeah. I don't need all this. I don't need Philly. I just need PHI. And you know I'm talking about Philly. Oh my. I'm just using my finger. There we go. We have the Philadelphia Falcons for Philly. The thing is with the Falcons is They look really good at points. But dude, can they get like a real winning streak going? New York does this too. I didn't really mention this when I was doing New York, but they do this too. Dude, if they'll get like a win or two, then they lose 2 or 3. And same with Austin, but these guys just have a better record. That's why they're a bit higher in the standings. So, and Philly, I believe they have a better record than New York, which is why they're ahead of them. That should be why they're ahead of them. Taking a look. Yep. Philly is ahead of New York. But the team coming up is below them. So I believe they're next. But I'm not sure if they're next in the power rankings. Yeah, they're next. So this team is below the Falcons, but they're above New York. Just because their wins. They're getting wins over good teams. Oh, whoops. I'm going to fix that 7, sort of. Number 4, the Calgary Cougars. So for the Cougars, their wins are over good teams. Yeah, Calgary's, they're winning over really good teams. And Calgary, they're doing really well. They're getting wins over teams that you wouldn't expect them to get a win over. And I accidentally just deleted my power rankings thing, so I don't have to put that back in. So, but for the Calgary Cougars, at least I didn't delete my stats, or at least I do not want to enter those back in. So for the Seattle Stingrays, excuse me, that was a mistake. For the Calgary Cougars, the ones over teams, I can't really think of an example right now, but and they were able to beat the New York Eagles. They're under Philly, but I feel they're playing better games than the Falcons. They're playing better games against better teams, so that's why I have them at 4. So we move on to number 3, and who would this be? So number 3 we have. I'm missing. Oh yeah. So number 3. Number 3, the Winnipeg Wolfpack, like Calgary, they're getting wins against good teams. These two teams are getting wins against teams that you would not expect them to get wins against. Calgary Cougars, they shut out the K-Wings. That's why they're above Philly. Winnipeg, they were able to beat the Seattle Stingrays 4-2. That just came in my mind. The Kansas City Calgary game. I was thinking. So the Winnipeg Wolfpack, they beat the Stingrays 4-2. This doesn't necessarily put them above just because the difference between these two teams and everybody else is so great. So Winnipeg. But if you're going to handily beat a top 2 team in this tournament, that's going to automatically move you up no matter how bad you are in the standings. Especially if you're down here. If like LA or San Diego, they beat like Kansas City, they're going to go up half the board. Okay, well, they'll get out of the bottom row at least. So then we move on to the final 2. These are pretty standard at this point. They've been here almost the entire time. Seattle Stingrays, number 2. If this continues, they lost to the Winnipeg Wolfpack. If it continues, this will be flopped. Winnipeg could pass Seattle in my power rankings, and because Seattle, that was a bloop. They cannot let that happen again if they want to keep their number 2 spot. They cannot keep losing another game, especially against a good team. If it's like LA, I'd probably let it slide depending on how the game went. But if you lose to this team more than once, they're gonna fall out of second place, maybe to third. And if it keeps going, they're gonna get out of the top row. So number 1, very predictable. I don't feel again same thing with Same thing with Seattle as with the K-Wings, who are at the top of the board like always. Kansas City, they got shut out by the Calgary Cougars, who are 4th spot. They're right here. They're 3 spots below Kansas City. So for the K-Wings, that was an embarrassing game against the Cougars. An embarrassing loss. They got shut out 3-0. They cannot do that again. If they do that again, especially depending on the team, they could move out of the top and out of first place. They could have Winnipeg or Seattle take it, just depending on how things go. But we'll see. So this is my ranking. You can take a look at the standings, maybe watch some of the games if you don't watch the recaps, if you don't know what's happening, because this is how are the teams playing right now. That's what this is. If you don't agree with me, you don't. So enough of me rambling, and I'll see you for the next one. Goodbye.